Hello everybody, welcome back to Minecraft Survival with Fix. Hey, you see anything different? anything jumping out at you? Yeah, last night I did a long live stream and I started work on the second phase of the mountains here. I've just been looking at it and I kind of want a grindy project. I'll be totally honest. I was watching Germsy Boy, a good friend, and build his mountain, and I was like, yeah, it's great to have a grindy project. I mean, I don't care if it's necessarily a mountain or digging a hole or building a big wall or whatever, you know, but something that you can just get on and just go to town grinding, you know? And I was like, I don't have a grindy project right now. You know, all my projects are kind of building projects, which are fun also, and it's good to have those too. But yeah, I decided that I want to expand the mountains here. So I went into phase 2 and I began the framework of the mountain here. And it's going to be really cool. It's going to be really great. It's bigger than this one, which is what I want. So I want this one to be the smallest one, the one that's completed, this guy over here. This one to be the medium one, which is going to go up to current build height. And then there's going to be one behind it, the phase 3 mountain, that I'm not going to do until after we get 118 with the expanded height, so it can go even taller, another 64 blocks up. It's going to be really great. But I'm going to have to wait on that for a little bit. So what I want to do today, I'm not going to spend all day on the mountain, but I am going to grind it a little while here because it's a lot of fun. I might even do another live stream or so and just begin the process of filling in all these peaks and sort of making it, you know, the wireframe, making the shapes work and all that kind of stuff. And if you're ever building a mountain yourself, I have a couple of tips. One is do a ton of this wireframe outlines, a ton, way more than you think, because I've done a couple mountains now, and couple floating islands, and if you don't do enough of these wireframe things, then you end up getting a lot of straight or diagonal lines. It's just human nature. We build in straight lines or diagonal lines, and it looks really weird. So the more of these you do in a very random way, the better you're going to be. Also, another tip I have is whenever you're doing these diagonal lines, don't go straight. So don't go like from here, don't go straight up to there. Always bend it some way. Either you could bend it you know, out and then back in and out or whatever you want to do, but always bend it. So I would do something like this. If I were doing this, I'd go here and then I start bending it a little bit. Not a straight diagonal though, you know, like don't always go 2 blocks and then 1 block up, maybe do a few like this, you know, whatever. Make it random. The only other tip I have, and this is not really going to apply to me right now, but I've learned it, is don't build your mountain where it snows naturally. So don't build your mountain over extreme hills, because then you're going to get snow in your mountain, and that is going to really make your mountain look a lot worse, believe it or not. It's better to hand place snow where you want it than it is to have like 1 layer of snow on all your blocks. Like, this is way better than if each of these blocks had just like 1 layer of snow. That would be really drag. Anyway, that's it. I'm going to get to work building this stuff. I have a lot of AFK. I'm going to throw on Netflix, do some building, and then we're going to come back and talk, because I have a lot to talk about. In between the last clip and now, I've done 2 live streams, and check it out. We have the beginnings of a nicely shaped mountain. I think it's going to be really, really cool. Man, I am so excited to see this castle and this city in between these big mountain ranges. Oh man, it's going to be great. You can see there's a lot of shapes, probably more shapes than I've done on any of the other mountains I've done before, and yeah, it's just nice. There's lots of little valleys, little crooks, and little areas where snow and leaves and grass and dirt and all that kind of stuff can sort of pile up, and I think it is really, really looking cool. Just check it out. So, you know, I was giving tips on the live stream, but if you're ever building your own mountain, the one thing I've learned is do a ton of framework. The more framework you do, the more interesting your mountain is. The less framework you do, the more boring and flat and diagonal sort of shaped your mountain is, which is not quite as good. So do tons and tons and tons of framework, get the shape the way you want it, and then it's just filling in the blanks. Then it's easy after that. The other thing I did, and I guess the other recommendation I have, is to torch up everything before you actually start building the mountain, because it only takes about a second for it to become just the most deadly mob trap ever, and that in itself wouldn't be a big deal, except for skeletons. Whenever you're starting these rows, will shoot and will knock you off, and it's just a big pain. Then you have to fly, and then you have to stick the landing, and yeah, it's not something you want to do. So those are my 2 tips. Light up the ground, build tons and tons and tons of sort of skeletal framework. In fact, I'll probably even add more. Like, see these 2? See this one right here that goes up, and then this one that goes up? I'll probably add like a diagonal across there, because that's just going to add more interesting shape. If you don't add it, all of a sudden this becomes very flat. So things like that as well. But sometimes I'll add those, like before I start actually filling it in, I'll add a few diagonals and stuff just to give sort of target areas. But that's not all. Since the last clip and now, 1.17 actually came out, and I'm very excited. I've not messed with it at all. Now, I will admit, I'm a little bit not sure of how I'm going to proceed in this world. Of course, yes, I'm going to update, but I'm not sure if I want to, explore around and get a bunch of the new stuff, knowing that the mountains and caves are coming, or more likely, I'll just go ahead and explore, get the new stuff for now, and then when 1.18 comes out with the new mountains and everything, at that point, then we will probably trim and prune some of the chunks and all that kind of stuff. But check out what I did. I went up, and just to see how much I got, I built a tower of 3 stacks. From right here, you can get just barely under 3 stacks. So 3 stacks of iron ore, and you can see how much iron ore I'm just sitting in just from digging this hole. And I got from it almost 8 stacks of, what's this called? Raw iron, which is amazing. It's like almost like tripling your ore. So 3 stacks became almost 8 stacks. It's really, really amazing. Like, I mean, because I dig so much in this world, I don't need like really an iron farm. And in fact, if I dig somewhere else, I won't maybe need even like a copper drown farm, because I just dig so much to get stone for these big mountains and castles and all that kind of stuff. So it's interesting. One of the things though that makes me kind of wonder about is about continuing this little area, even though I definitely want to, but I'm thinking if I dug somewhere else, I would get copper too, and that would be better. So I don't know. I'm really thinking about it. I don't want to go mining for copper necessarily just for copper. I want to mine for stone and get iron and copper, together. So I don't know. It's something I'm thinking about anyway. But regardless of that, let's head back to the mountain and get a little bit of work done. After talking to a bunch of my friends about what they're doing in their worlds and all that kind of stuff, I did make a decision. So I found out about this great program from Prowl. It's called Amulet MC, and the website is amuletmc.com. And it works for both Java and Bedrock, and it is a very cool pruner, basically. And what it's going to do is, in Minecraft, if you don't know the way Minecraft works, is once you explore a chunk, once a chunk loads, then it's that way forever. And so if there's new terrain generation, like deep slate and all that kind of stuff, that will never be in that chunk unless you delete that chunk and then let the game regenerate it using the newest, 1.17 generation. So that's what I decided I'm going to do. So I loaded the whole thing up. It took quite a while. After it all got loaded up, then I picked out the area of my entire kingdom. And what you see right there, that is my entire kingdom. Up at the very top is the Guardian Fortress, and the whole rest of the world is right there. The one thing that I didn't do on camera here is I didn't do the thing that we're going to talk about next. I did it in 2 phases, actually. First thing is I did the big giant delete, where I deleted everything in the world except for that big square that you just saw, and I went around and I checked it out in a creative backup just to make sure that everything was still there, and sure enough, it all still was. The Guardian Temple, the 100 Days Colony Edition part of the world, the whole castle, all the farmland, everything is there. The only things that got deleted that I had ever done anything with was like the mining mesa and the mining desert and, whatever. I'll just put a new portal there. That's not a big deal. But everything else seems pretty good. While I was checking it out, look what I found. My first goat. Yeah, just a goat just hanging out by the castle. That's cool. Well, and that brings us to this area. You remember just from about 2 minutes ago, remember that giant big hole that I've been working on where the waterfall is going to come down and dig out that big ravine? Yeah, I overrode it. I did. I overrode it because I want to get I want to get tough. I want to get deep slate. I want to get all copper ore. That's probably the biggest thing. I want to get. I don't want to be digging and not be getting copper ore and deep slate and all that stuff. But then I saw Wandering Trader. Hallelujah! My first Wandering Trader. So I got a bunch of what's this called? Dripstone, pointy dripstone. So I'm gonna try to set up a farm for that. I may actually need to watch a tutorial on how to do it. After that, just a few seconds later, I was mining and boom, copper. My first copper. Oh, it's so exciting! So that brings us to where we are now. I spent some time digging between the last clip and now, and I'm starting a new ravine. This is going to be my big stone quarry, basically. Same idea still. There's going to be a big waterfall that comes down from the mountain, and it's going to hit some like cascading sort of rocky water areas and then go down, maybe even a dam. I think that might be kind of cool. And then there's going to be a river that runs down through this ravine and a whole enormous ravine kingdom. It's going to be great. I can't wait to build it. But that all being said, I have a lot of digging to do. Now, if you look at the coordinates up on the top left, I really hate those, by the way, but every once in a while you need them. I'm at Y57. I was at Y55 at my old one, so, you know, I'm pretty close to where I was before. Shouldn't be backtracking that much. One thing that I decided to do as sort of a penalty for resetting these chunks was all of the stone and andesite and diorite and copper and coal and all that stuff. I just deleted it all with the chunks. I didn't remove it. I just deleted. I did keep my beacons. I mean, come on. I did keep my beacons. But all the rest of the stuff I just deleted because I thought, I felt like that was a good penalty to delete them and get the stuff. I did felt like, you know, resetting chunks and getting the same stuff over and over again might feel a little bit cheaty. So yeah, so I deleted everything that was in here, and I'm starting a new ravine. It's going to be awesome. So I'm going to do a little bit more digging, and then we have a lot more to talk about. I do want to bring you in and talk a little bit about 117 World Generation. I feel like they have massively increased the amount of diorite and andesite, specifically, and granite to a lesser extent, that drops in the world. It is totally insane. Look, so this is all new. This is all since I've been digging out this quarry. Here's how much stone I have. This much and this much. I've not used any of it. So I have basically a chest and what? A chest and a half of stone. And here's how much andesite I have. Look at all that andesite. Here's how much diorite I have. Look, it's like equal almost. Equal. It's almost equal stone, andesite, and diorite, and granite not as much. But so I don't know. Maybe I missed that on a patch about the update. I mean, yeah, dirt and grass, because that I peeled off the top layers. Of course, you're gonna get a lot of that. But yeah, it's totally nuts. I mean, I can't believe. I may have to really rethink how I build, to be totally honest. Not to take this too extreme, but if I'm getting so much diorite, andesite, and granite, I might need to actually start building out of them, because I'm not gonna have as much stone to do, you know, the bulk of my building. So maybe I'll do some landscaping features using those, which I haven't done a lot of. I did some diorite, but I haven't really done a lot of landscaping with those blocks, but maybe I should. The other thing I want to talk about is I want to talk about how I'm doing this ravine. And one of the things that I'm going to be keeping consistent in this ravine is only stone, cobblestone, and andesite on the sides here. So if you see anything else poking out down below, then I'm going to replace it. So like, for example, right here, I'd like to use a lot of sort of cobblestone, because it makes it feel like the rock's breaking up a little bit and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, all this, like, I'm going to block all the diorite that we see here and just cover it in stone and cobblestone. And I probably won't add andesite. I'll probably keep it, but whatever andesite is there, I'm just going to let it be, because it blends in really well with the stone, gives a little bit nicer of a little bit of a nice effect. That all being said, this is going to add some real time to my quarrying, but I think it's going to be worth it, given that eventually this is going to be a kingdom down here. But it brought me a question I wanted to ask you, my YouTube friends, my faithful viewers. Whenever you need a lot of stone in your vanilla world, I'm not talking modded here, in your vanilla world, when you need a lot of stone, what's your go-to? And of course, something like Skyblock or something is going to be a lot different, but what's your go-to? Do you do like a cobblestone generator, or do you dig a hole, or do you hide totally underground your hole? Like, I know like Fwip, for example, generally gets his stone from mining deep underground around like diamond level. I've seen his enormous holes that he makes for his huge projects. And yeah, I'm just curious. Do you guys dig a hole like I'm doing right now? Try to double dip, where you dig a hole and you also have some sort of build coming for that hole? I'm very curious. So please leave a comment and let me know. It's something I've been thinking about while I've been sort of stuck here in my new hole digging this out. Another fun thing that I just found out, thanks to Ray's works, that this is never going to happen. This has to be on dripstone blocks. So unfortunately, and also with a source block. So none of these are like ever going to grow. I was hoping to just get them. I didn't care about doing it manually, but yeah, they're not going to go because they have to be on dripstone blocks. So let's figure out how to make those together. Why not? I have a feeling it's 4x4, but let's find out. Hopefully it is. Okay, it is. So here's the question. Do I make two of them? I guess I do, right? So now I have two of these, and I have two of these. This is all I bought from the Wandering Trader. And then another thing I learned is that it has to be a source block on top of that. So I'm going to need to grab, let's see if I can do some of this stuff. I think I'm going to do this on camera. I hate doing stuff on camera, to be totally honest. Yeah, I'm the YouTuber who hates doing stuff on camera. Let's crawl up to the top here and see what we can do, because I'm going to have a source block up there on top, a source block of water, because it doesn't work with flowing water, and I thought it did. I don't know why I thought that. I based that on just sort of thinking that it did. I did not base that on actually having information. Okay, so that's the first thing. Now I'm going to take my dripstone blocks, and I'm going to put one. Let's see, where do I want to put? How about one? Let's go one right here, and let's just go right beside it. Okay, that'll be fine. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna place it right there and right there. Okay, now, hypothetically, it should grow. Now, I guess it takes a Minecraft day or as long as a Minecraft day to grow, but regardless, we should now be getting eventually more dripstone, and then as I get more, I can make more dripstone blocks, and eventually what I'll probably end up doing is building like a piston here, some sort of like piston that pushes out at the top every once in a while or something like that. I think that should probably be enough, and maybe even a little collection thing. Yeah, why not? We'll get super technical with it. Yeah. Just have a tiny little bit more, and I'm in a good place here. I mean, you know, it's not very deep, and I don't have that much stone, because unfortunately I've used a lot of my stone, covering up and hiding this diorite as I'm doing right now. So, with getting a lot less stone than I was getting before, I'm not sure how effective this is going to be, but as it gets wider and wider, the walls, will get wider, but they won't go deeper. So I'll get more stone as it goes, but I think as of now, take a look at it, I think it's starting to look pretty good. Now you can imagine, see the angle that's going down. This angle is going to keep going the whole way down for another 60 blocks or so before I get to the kingdom. So it's going to be pretty wide at the bottom. I think that's going to be really cool. The kingdom will come, we're talking a long time from now. I don't know if I mentioned that this episode or not, but don't get your hopes up to see this kingdom anytime soon. This is probably like a year away. But we're laying the groundwork, and I think that's an important thing. I'll take that copper or iron. Cool. Anyway, that is pretty good. Let's go check out what is going on over in town. This area right here has been unfinished for 130 episodes or so. And I want to get to it. I want to get to it really bad. Now, the original idea for this place, this castle, I was called a castle, but honestly, it's kind of small. Like, my kingdom is big, the world is big, but this castle itself is not that big. Really, essentially, it's a storage room and a fairly small keep, and that's it. I mean, this whole thing that you see up here, that entirely is my storage room with some unfinished rooms upstairs in the towers and stuff, but, this is just a storage room. Over here, this is just a keep. If you haven't been here in a while, let me go show you what's in the keep, because it is semi-furnished inside, but, in the end, this is it. That's the whole castle, so I have this keep in here, not, it's dining rooms, bedrooms, stuff like that, but really, truly, it's not that big. So the only things that I can really add to this castle, I have basically two choices. My original choice was going to be, I was going to add houses, like sort of the upper class, like the court of the castle, their houses go right here. Oh, you know what I need here? Hold on, wait. I need to get some milk. You always have to carry milk now in Minecraft. It's just a thing. It takes up an inventory spot, but because if you play with villagers at all, you are going to eventually have to kill a pillager, and you're going to get the omen thing effect, and you need milk. So this was originally going to be houses, like nice houses that you can just walk through. It's kind of a downtown, but like with a little bit bigger houses. And then down around the corner over here, there was just going to be more houses. Up until, see that like wall right there? That's going to be a smaller mountain on the side of the castle there eventually. So all this flat area could also be houses. And I just want to fill it up before we're done with this season, so that when we move on to do the Inquisitor base, this part is done. In here, and there's other stuff. I'm not saying we're never going to come back. We probably are, but for a little while, we're not going to come back. This cave is supposed to be something. I think this cave is going to be a crystal cave using geodes and stuff like that. Make a real amethyst sort of thing now that we have that block, but obviously you can see it's nothing. Right now, I just sort of extended that to put the castle on. That doesn't look very secure. I hope it don't have an earthquake. So I think what we're going to do is wrap up this episode here, fairly short, a little bitty episode, because then what I can do is I can start working on these houses, because I think that's going to be the next thing I do. I think I'm going to build probably like 10 or 12 or 13 houses in this area and just fill it up, just make it look like people live here, and I think that's going to be a really good thing. Maybe some shops, but I have a feeling like the high nobility in this area probably wouldn't really have shops. They'd more like they'd just be rich. Maybe they would own the shops that are in the town down below, something like that. I don't know. But yeah, so I think that's going to be it. Oh, I'm so used to a beacon. I was like, why am I not mining this fast? But it's because I don't have my beacon up here. Anyway, that's going to do it for me. If you enjoyed the episode, hey, drop me a like if you don't mind. I've heard likes are very helpful for the channel. Also, if you're wondering, and I know you are probably, you're going to say, hey, when's the next 100 days episode. Well, it's going to start right after I'm done recording this. Okay, I'm going to edit this. I'm going to put it out. And then later on today, I'm going to start with day 1 of the next one. I have the script kind of figured out. It's ready to go. And we are all set. So we did a lot of good work today. Not that much to show necessarily, but hey, we saw copper. We started a new ravine. Can you look at this thing? Oh, just look at this. It is going to be so awesome when it's done, but it's going to take a little while, clearly. Also, my dripstone's not growing. Why is my dripstone not growing? Grow. I need so much of you for inside that mountain over there. I need so much of you. Please grow. All right. Anyway, that's good for me. I will talk to you all next episode. I'll see you on Discord, and thank you so much for the support. Love you all. Thanks to my patrons and YouTube members as well. And I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. Nope, this is not going to grow.